Welcome to Anime Stark. Today, we bring you the first part of a powerful and emotional fanfic, What If Deku Was Kidnapped and Lost, Part 1. This story explores a darker, more tragic side of Izuku Midoriya's life, one filled with pain, rejection, and survival. Disclaimer: this fanfic contains fictional depictions of emotional and physical abuse, child neglect, and bullying. It is meant for mature audiences and viewer discretion is strongly advised. None of this content is real, and it is not intended to glorify or promote any form of abuse. If you're sensitive to these topics, feel free to skip this video. If you're ready, let's begin part 1 of What If Deku Was Kidnapped and Lost. The night covered the city and more today since it had recently rained. The streets were with some puddles of water. The streets still had pedestrians, but they were few. The late hours of the night had left only the last people leaving bars or their work, while everyone walked aimlessly and others fell because of alcohol. And among all that spectacle, a black-haired woman with bright red eyes avoided such people, but as she crossed a corner on her usual route home, she could see how there was a riot, or rather a fight. Several men seemed to be arguing about something. She knew she should not go in there since the strong smell of alcohol. The number of men that were gathering was greater with each moment. She decided to change her route and ended up passing by a park, one that she does not usually visit. Knows about it, only because it is an alternate route that she usually takes for personal safety when there are disturbances. She could notice how this road was calm and began to walk, passing by some games on her way, swings still dripping, a slide with a slight puddle of water. And when she went halfway, she heard some noises as if an animal was crossing the bushes. This scared her, but the sound didn't stop and she was doubting what to do. She began to back away slowly, taking a step slowly without making any noise, but before taking another step she began to hear a buzzing sound. She was surprised. She tried to continue, but followed by the buzzing a light and a child's moan appeared. She hesitated for a moment but decided to see what it was as she walked towards the bushes, and as she did she saw a green-haired boy with a necklace that was throwing sparks, but the boy was using a blue flame trying to remove the necklace while it seemed to electrocute him. She was surprised by the scene, and in the end the boy managed to remove the necklace. When he did, he threw it. Then the woman accidentally made a slight noise. Action captured by the boy. He saw her with a look of fear as if he had seen the worst thing in his life. What she thought. He tried to run, but as he turned around and took a step he fell. She slowly approached him and she could see the boy better. He had old clothes with several holes or burns. Some scars were present where this could see. A green-haired boy was faced with a vision that scared him. He saw how he was in front of a child. This child began to attack him. He did not know what to do. He only heard screams of people he did not know. When he turned around he saw how the other child was already in front of him and attacked him with rocks. He did not know what to do and instinctively raised his hand, and a flame came out of it reaching the other child. He began to scream when he heard that. He woke up sweating. When he did so he noticed that he was in an unknown place. While he was in a bed, he saw how where he was a bedroom, but everything was different from what he knew. Not only was it tidy, clean, but without warning he saw how the door began to open and instinctively he hid. "Hey, kid, where are you?" he said, entering the room. "I'm not going to hurt you, get out." There was no response. "Come on, look, I have some food, get out, I know you must be hungry, get out." At that moment a green-haired man slowly appeared, peeking out from under the bed. "Izuku, you won't hurt me?" "No, look, I brought some food, come here," he said, showing a tray with a loaf of bread and soup. The green-haired man slowly approached the woman who was waiting for him with the tray in hand. Izuku, seeing that she wouldn't try anything, decided to take the piece of bread first and quickly retreated between the bed and a piece of furniture near it. "Tell me what happened to you, kid?" "Izuku, nah, nothing," he said, stuttering. "It didn't seem like anything to me, kid. You had an electric shock collar, is that nothing?" She didn't answer. "You can spend the night here but don't try anything," he said, leaving the room. "That kid, where have I seen him?" "Let's see then. This is you," he said, looking at a photo of Izuku. "Wow, what happened to you, kid? But well, look, being lost for 4 years is no small thing," he said, looking at a photo on his computer in which a wanted article appeared. Article: Wanted. Izuku Midoriya. Age: 4 years. He was last seen in. Any information about his whereabouts, please contact. Publication date. The woman began to move from one side to the other. She felt like the sun's rays hit her face, this more out of routine than pleasure. She got up, starting her typical morning, but then as she finished dressing she remembered that boy. Something didn't fit with him, his appearance, the time he spent lost, but even more so the scars he had, or at least the ones she could see. But what caught her attention the most was the necklace he was wearing. Heading to the room where she left that boy, she saw how the door was half open. She peeked through it and could see how he seemed to be doing something with the sheets. Paying more attention, she saw how he tied them in a knot. "What do you think you're doing?" I shouted, coming through the door. Such action scared the boy. Without thinking he tried to jump out the window, but before even crossing he was captured by a pillar of ice. He saw this and without measuring anything he threw fire at it. The ice quickly began to melt. The woman watched in amazement as a blue flame melted her ice, and once again she believed more when she managed to capture him. She quickly approached him and tried to hold him. But when she got close she felt like something was stopping her, as if she had collided with a wall, but without stopping her advance, and hoping not to hurt him she quickly covered the child completely with ice until she could see him fall unconscious. "Damn, kid. I'll have to investigate more about you, since it seems you won't say anything, but I don't blame you," he said while taking a piece of ice to free it. Knock knock. "Yeah. Yuko, it's me, Alba, open up." "Yuko, come in, I need you to help me with something." "Alba, what do you want this time? You know I can't just leave the headquarters like that." "Yuko, stop complaining, you're useless." "Alba, shut up. When the exam is over, you won't say the same thing." "Yuko, seriously, and tell me how many are there? 3, 4, no, there are already 6 fucking exams, don't fuck with me." "Alba, I didn't come here to insult me. So tell me what you want or I'll leave." "Yuko, okay, you can't even stand a joke." "Alba, yes, your joke." "Yuko, follow me." The man followed the woman to a bedroom. He thought otherwise, but when he entered, he could see a child lying on the bed. "Alba, if you're so bored, find a hobby, not random kids." "Yuko, shut up. I'm not like that, idiot." "Alba, then explain, this gives me another impression." "Yuko, well, look, this kid, I found him in a park, but look," she gently pulled the shirt collar aside, revealing the edge of an old scar. Even just that glimpse said more than enough. "Alba, don't fuck with me, what happened to him?" he said surprised. "Yuko, and how do you want me to know?" "Look, I investigated just out of curiosity. I didn't think I would find anything, but it seems that this child has been missing for a long time." "Alba, why don't you just take him to headquarters, or better yet, to a fucking hospital?" "Yuko, of course, genius, and the animals who put this on him," she said holding an electroshock collar with a melted part. "Won't look for him in that place." Alba, stayed silent. "And what, do you think I can help him or that?" "Yuko, you're an office worker at headquarters, right? That means you should have information about things like this." Alba, and you think I'll find something just because? "Yuko, I don't know, but try it no." Alba, let me see that thing." "Yuko, here," she said holding out the necklace. Alba, started to inspect it. I think I've seen this before." "Yuko, where?" Alba, once a hero found one of these things and it was not given importance, but then an officer found the corpse of a child, but that child had one of these things." "Yuko, what?" She said surprised. Alba, look, I don't know what this garbage is, but I do know this thing, she said holding the necklace, must belong to someone, and if that someone is looking for that child, he must not be far away." "Yuko, and what the hell do I do now?" Alba, I don't know, but I'll take it to the station. Besides, I doubt that 1 or 2 idiots will be a problem for you, or not. Heart of ice, he said leaving. Yuko, stupid secretary. You hear in the background, don't tell me that. Yuko, great, keep doing charity work, Yuko. The green-haired boy slowly began to get up. He noticed how this time the window had a piece of ice as a cover. He got up and seeing that there was no one there, he decided to look through the door. He saw how the corridor was empty. He went out and slowly upon leaving the room he saw that in fact there was no one there. He quickly looked for an exit. When he saw how a door appeared on the ground floor, he began to take step after step trying not to make noise. He went down the stairs, but as he passed by a door. Yuko, tell me, are you going somewhere? She said, leaning against the door. Izuku threw a flame out of fear, but this time the fire was consumed by the ice so easily. Yuko, it won't work twice, kid. If you didn't escape through the window it was because of that. No. Izuku looked down. Your flame is weak. No. He didn't respond. Yuko kept looking at Izuku. Look, kid, I already know who you are. To say this, Izuku quickly looked up. I know your name is Izuku Midoriya, but tell me one thing like a brat, how you managed to survive on the streets for 4 years. He didn't respond. Look, kid, if you don't want to say anything for my own good, I'll call your mother tomorrow. You're too far from home. He said, turning around. Izuku, I don't have a mother. He said, barely audible. Yuko, don't lie, kid. Izuku, I'm not lying, I don't have a mother, I have nothing. Yuko, if you don't have anything, what are you doing here? Izuku, slash I was silent for a moment slash I escaped. Yuko, you escaped from what? Izuku, everything. Yuko, from everything, from your mother perhaps? From your family? What would a child your age run away from? Izuku, of both slash he said stuttering slash. Yuko, both? Did your family give you all those scars? Izuku, yes, and no. Yuko, boy, my patience is short, and I'm hungry. I'm not used to cooking, so tell me, what do you want to eat? Izuku, no loss. Yuko, TSK, fine, I'll order a pizza, but you better tell me everything, brat, wait for me there slash she said pointing to a sofa slash if you escape, I'll kill you, brat slash she said entering the room slash. Yuko, phew. Slash she said sitting on the couch slash look, kid, can I call your mom to come get you? Izuku, no. Slash he said scared slash. Yuko, if you don't want to answer, you're a brat of 10, 11 years old, not to mention that you're quite far from your home, a lot in my opinion, so I'll make it easy for you, either you answer me or I'll take you to the headquarters so they can return you to Japan. Izuku, slash he was silent for a moment slash good. Yuko, great, now tell me, what is your name and how old are you? Izuku, slash he was silent for a moment slash I am, Izuku, I am 10 years old. Yuko, and where is your Midoriya? Izuku, I'm not Midoriya anymore. Yuko, well, tell me, were those scars given to you by your family? Izuku, yes, some. Yuko, some? Who made the others? Izuku, they. Yuko, who are they? Izuku, those who, slash he remained silent slash brought me here, and others. Yuko, I see, well then tell me, the pizza service here is shit so we have time tell me what the hell happened to you and how a 10-year-old brat ended up in Russia. Izuku, Russia. Slash scared scream slash. Yuko, shut up, kid. Slash she said annoyed slash. Izuku, slash Bo's head slash sorry. Yuko, slash recompose slash cough cough okay I see you didn't know that or am I wrong tell me how you didn't realize that before I mean, it's not like people here spend their time speaking Japanese just for fun. Izuku, sorry, but as far as I remember I just hid from everyone. Yuko, I see. Izuku, but how come you're speaking Japanese? Yuko, because I'm also Japanese, kid. Izuku, slash stayed silent slash. Yuko, look, I'm here for some business, but tell me what happened to you? And what the heck was that necklace you were wearing? Izuku, that one, slash he was silent for a moment slash was given to me by those who caught me. Yuko, they caught you? So they kidnapped you from home? Izuku, slash shakes his head slash they didn't catch me after I ran away. Yuko, slash looks at him slash I see, well tell me what happened to you. Izuku, slash he hesitated for a few minutes in which they were silent, she looking at him and he not knowing where to look until what happened to me was. 2 days later. Yuko, tell me, did you find something? Alba, it seems that necklace is used in kidnappings. Yuko, kidnappings, why would they do so much just for a child? Alba, do you remember the old dog fights? Yuko, you're talking about those where they bet and stuff. Alba, yes. Yuko, but what do some children and such things have to do with street fights? Alba, well I didn't get much information since it's an active operation so it's hard to know more, you see according to the reports they kidnap children and make them fight each other and to make them do it they use those collars. Yuko, so that's why the news only talks about children's corpses. Alba, that's right. Yuko, I can't believe that kid survived that. Alba, and where is it? Yuko, well, I couldn't just let him go. Alba, you're not going to tell me you're going to keep it. Yuko, as if it were a dog. Alba, I doubt he's had a life different from that of a dog. Yuko, do you think it's possible, I don't know slash I doubt a little slash to make him stay with me without raising suspicions. Alba, what? Slash he said surprised slash you, the heart of ice, are interested in someone. Yuko, not accepting the propositions of idiots makes me a heartless woman, an animal, and what's with that stupid nickname? Alba, nothing, well, I don't think it's easy, but why? What made you want to take care of him? Yuko, her past. Alba, his past? Why? Yuko, you see, I tried to get him to tell me what happened to him, not to mention that he didn't even realize he was in another country. Alba, I see, but why don't we just contact the Japanese authorities and have him returned to his family? Yuko, she has no family. Alba, is he an orphan? Yuko, no, his mother, from what she told me, is a piece of shit. Look at her treating him so badly. Alba, you're not going to tell me it's another case of quirkles. Yuko, he's not a quirkless but his mother treated him like one. Alba, so what exactly do you want to do? Yuko, I don't know, but for now I have time, thanks to my visa. Alba, I remember that it is that 5 or 6 years no. Yuko, 5 is due in 5. Alba, well, I guess you want me to do something, right? Yuko, if you know, why do you ask? Alba, I hoped it wouldn't be like that. Yuko, just help me. Alba, okay, first how much does he need, or rather how much do you want that child to receive? Yuko, he's a child, he's not supposed to be in school and all that. Alba, stayed silent well yes, but without documents it will be difficult, blood samples from the child were needed as well as a photo of him, with that I can investigate if there is anything about him, you know, missing person requests or something. Yuko, there she is an old woman from 4 years ago. Alba, stayed silent it will be more difficult this way leaned on the railing look, I can make it become how to say it. Yuko, your famous underwater moves. Alba, complain, but they served you well, right? Or maybe I'll have to talk to your superior. Yuko, tsk shut up, exhale you may or may not do something. Alba, of course I can, but I'll need that to fix something. Yuko, okay, let's go. Alba, amazing he said looking at Izuku kid, doesn't something hurt? Izuku, some sides. Alba, which ones? Izuku began to point with his fingers at various parts of his body, the central part of his chest being the left shoulder, the back, the stomach, the head, the feet and the neck. Alba, we'll have to take him to a doctor, you know. Yuko, you think I don't know she said a little scared Alba, tell me, do you have more scars on your legs too? He nods Yuko, how does a mother allow that? She thought when she saw Izuku without his shirt Even through the torn clothes, it was clear, his body had been through more than most adults. Scars, bruises. More than any kid should ever bear. Few parts of his body were clean or appeared to be those of a normal child. Alba, ready he said removing a needle from Izuku's forearm tell me kid won't you be among the 10 most wanted or yes he started laughing The man was laughing until the woman hit him on the head. Alba, careful. Yuko, don't make jokes about that idiot guy. Alba, okay sorry, I'll investigate if I can do something. Yuko, well, kid, why don't you get dressed there? She said pointing to a chair I left some clothes, I don't know if they fit you, but put them on. Those rags smell bad. Alba, and I'm the rude one. Yuko, shut up. Yuko, well. Alba, seeing his condition, it will be difficult for him to enter a normal school. Yuko, I know. Alba, why don't you talk to him? I remember that guy had some serious connections, right? Maybe he can get me into a school. Yuko, it would be easier to ask the lieutenant, you know. Alba, I guess, but it's your decision, right? He started rummaging through his clothes take this he said, holding out a badge Yuko, what is this for? Alba, use it when you take him to the hospital if you use that he said pointing at it they won't ask anything and they will attend to him without asking but. It will only work once and make sure that he is seen by a doctor not a nurse or a paramedic no one absolutely no one just a doctor. Yuko, why? Alba, don't ask and do it, I'm leaving. I'll call you if I find anything he said walking to the door Yuko, tsk what should I do she said taking a sip of her coffee while she was in the living room Izuku, excuse me he said going down Yuko, what do you want, boy? Izuku, why does he help me? Yuko, I wonder the same thing. Izuku, I'm sorry for being a bother, but I have to go. Yuko, where? Izuku, no I keep silent I know. Yuko, kid, you're 10 years old, you don't know any other language other than Japanese, not to mention that you must not have any studies, so where can someone like you go? Izuku, I don't know but, I interrupted Yuko, what do you think you can do, steal or something, kid? Things here aren't like in Japan. They're docile compared to the Russians. If you try something, you won't last. You'll only get sent back to Japan and therefore with her. Saying that, he shrugged his shoulders. And well. Izuku, stayed silent Yuko, exhaling come on kid, you can spend the night, we'll see what to do, but if you're thinking of leaving, you should at least be in good shape, right? She said, then took a sip of her coffee Izuku, thank you he said returning The street was cold, there were no people, he began to walk, his feet were trembling, the cold of the environment made him slow down with each step, not to mention that his clothes were completely wet and with a strong smell, each step was a sorrow, his stomach growled loudly and the burns on his back burned, but now they were the only thing that kept him awake. His course took him to a park. Seeing him he could remember how in this years before he spent days of happiness and joy, days in which his face was not represented by a sad one but by one full of happiness. Those memories now seemed distant, as if all that lived had only been a dream and his real life was another. Without knowing why, this walk towards this park, approaching one of the trash cans, when he arrived he began to search in it to end up finding remains of food, some pieces of bread, even potatoes, the base of completely soft ice cream cones. He saw this and, hesitating a little, decided to eat this. When he finished eating the little he found, he continued his walk, approaching a game, seeing how it could cover it from the winds. Ice cream got into this. A few minutes after doing so he began to hear noises and someone screaming. He opened his eyes to see two men arguing with each other. He didn't know what to do and slowly retreated inside his hiding place until a sharp blow where he was scared him, followed by a cut on one of his legs. When he felt this he ran away. Realizing what he did, he tried to run, but one of the men caught him and with a blow to the back knocked him down. As he fell he felt how they leaned on him. He tried hard to escape, but then he heard, let's see if this one puts up more of a fight than the last. And then received a strong blow to the head that left him unconscious. The green-haired man got up, breathing heavily, sweating, and seeing how he was still in that bedroom, he began to calm down slowly. When he did so, he decided to look out the window, seeing how it was still night. Izuku, I wish I could disappear. He said, looking out the window. Yuko, boy, she said, knocking on the door. Izuku, sorry, he said, opening the door. Yuko, why are you apologizing? She said, looking at him. You know I don't care. I have to go out, I'll be back late, there should be something to eat in the fridge, take what you need and don't try to escape. She said to start walking down the hall. Akeem, hey Yuko, aren't you coming early today? Yuko, and that matters to you? Akeem, hey, I'm just asking, don't get mad about it. Yuko, then don't interfere in my business. Akeem, aha, well if you come soon you can help me clean the rifles. No. Yuko, good. She said heavily. Akeem, because of your attitude, sometimes I wonder why you're still here. Yuko, just shut up, if they pay me to teach combat it's for my own good. Akeem, yes, and tell me how your classes are going. Yuko, look. She said a little annoyed. I don't have time for your nonsense, just shut up and clean up. Akeem, stayed silent. Good. Yuko, ready. She said, dropping a rifle. This is a lot. Akeem, yes, but you know if you're going to use it, clean it first. Yuko, aha, whatever you say. Akeem, today you are in a worse mood than usual, you won't tell me that another fool declared his love for you. Yuko, I don't give a shit about your nonsense with Japanese women. Akeem, come on, you know there's not much you can do about it, well besides smashing their faces in. Yuko, yes. A slight silence formed between them. Yuko, hey. Akeem, yes. He said while cleaning the metal table. Yuko, how far do you think a child can survive? Akeem, what's that about? Yuko, just answer. Akeem, well I think more than you or me, or not. Yuko, yes, but do you think that if you leave a 10-year-old child on the street, he will survive? Akeem, he remained silent. Well, I don't know, I doubt that he'll even survive a week before something happens to him, but why do you ask that? Yuko, curiosity. Akeem, fine. He said, drawing out the sentence. I'm going to save this if you want to have time for your hallucinations, just say it. Yuko, they're not hallucinations. She said, annoyed. Akeem, okay, whatever you say. Sarka, whoa. She said, stretching. Finally finished. Yuko, yes, I'm dead. Sarka, these combat lessons are getting heavier, aren't they? Yuko, yeah, or you're just getting old. Sarka, here you are old. Yuko, what did you say? Sarka, what you heard, Grandma. Both women began to peel. Hey, don't fight. Both, We are sorry, sir. For your stupid little game, they will clean the toilet, so go immediately. Sarka, great, instead of being at home now I'm cleaning toilets. Yuko, you started, idiot. Sarka, don't continue, I don't want any more punishments. Yuko, aha. A silence was generated that was broken only by the scrubbing of the brushes. Yuko, you have children, right? Sarka, why do you ask? Yuko, curiosity. Sarka, looks at her with doubt / you're not going to tell me you want to have one. Yuko, what, not at all. Sarka, then why do you ask? Yuko, I just wanted to know if it's possible for a mother to hate her children. Sarka, hate? Yuko, yes, do you think it's possible for a mother to hate her children? Sarka, well, it's not impossible, but these days it's not unusual for it to happen. Yuko, and you think it's possible that I might even kill him? Sarka, kill? What makes you think that happened? Yuko, I don't know the news. Sarka, ooh, you're talking about corpses, right? She nods / well, I doubt a mother has done that, but it's not impossible, but in all the recorded cases they have been due to a mental problem. Yuko, mental? Sarka, if you already know, for example, if the child is the product of rape or the mother has a mental disorder of some kind, it is possible. Yuko, yeah. Sarka, look, you can't do anything for those children. We can't just go and save them like that. Yuko, why not? Isn't that what heroes are supposed to be for? Sarka, heroes, yes, of course, today's heroes are useless, they only cause more damage than the villains themselves, their stupidity is what gives the rest of us extra work. Yuko, how can you say that? They support people. Sarka, if so then tell me one thing why you wanted to be a hero. Yuko, to save others. Sarka, don't come to me with children's stories, you're not a little girl anymore who believes that crap, tell me, did the heroes save your brother? She said looking at her / Yuko, no but / interrupted / Sarka, if you want to feel like a hero, save one of those brats, but I'll tell you something, my son is safe because I protect him. Not those stupid heroes / she said angrily / Yuko, I'm sorry / she said with her head down / Sarka, no, forgive me, I got too upset. Yuko, you can't do anything, it's just hormones. Sarka, yes / she said leaning against the wall / it's the only thing I have left of him / she said holding her stomach / Yuko, she regretted reminding you of that. Sarka, me too, look, a child is a blessing, it always is and always will be, but not everyone thinks that way and you can't force them, sometimes the little creatures just end up in the wrong house. Yuko, and you, do you think it's possible to save them? Sarka, I don't know, maybe yes, maybe not, but you can't handle everyone, you can only handle some, but what's all that about? You almost never talk about things like this. Yuko, I know it's just that. Sarka, you felt bad about the news, right? Yuko, something like that. Sarka, well, who am I to judge your life, but stop dyeing your hair / she said as she left the bathroom / Yuko, feeling bad / she said to stand in front of a mirror / I didn't think I would feel like this again for someone. Doc, excuse me, I know I shouldn't ask, but does the kid have telekinesis or something? Yuko, I don't know, I think so, why? Doc, I think it would be better to tell him everything when the preliminary exams are over before doing anything. Yuko, it's okay. Both were behind a glass window in front of a white machine in which Izuku was. Doc, good / he said taking some documents / I regret to tell you that the boy is going to need surgery and if he is not treated soon I doubt he will make ends meet. Yuko, is his condition that bad? Doc, bad would be a low expression for his condition. Yuko, how? Doc, look, the boy has so much internal and external damage that each wound is consuming so many nutrients that his body can barely function normally, not to mention the damage to his bones, muscles and wounds that are still healed in some internal organs, but let me tell you that this is the first time I've seen bone splinters in the bloodstream. Yuko, that is possible. Doc, yes, it is extremely rare to find something like that since it normally does not happen and the immune system should be able to deal with something like that, but his entire system is weak to a level that surprises me that it moves, not to mention that if he continues using his quirk so carelessly he will cause serious brain damage. Yuko, but I haven't seen him use it. Doc, studies indicate otherwise / he took out a brain x-ray / look / indicating a point on it / if you see this area in people who have a telepathy quirk or similar, This area is the one with the most activity and this child's has not stopped being used since if you see this area / he indicated another point / it is losing activity when this happens it is because, something we call cannibalism is when neurons die faster than they are regenerated and in this child this process was overcome to the point that neurons that do not work in that part are re-educated to compensate for the loss of neurons. Yuko, how is it possible that he is using it so often if he doesn't show it? Doc, I think he does it to walk. Yuko, walk? Doc, yes, given the level of scarring he has, I thought it would be good to do a complete study and his legs show a lot of damage. He can walk, but it would be slow or he should barely be able to move. Yuko, I think I can do something. Doc, well, looking at all the damage we have to repair, not to mention that we have to filter his blood, but at this point the best thing would be to do a complete transfusion to compensate for the antibodies. The boy's stay will be as stipulated by the mandate, don't worry about it, for now I recommend you inform your superior, change the type of tests you do, if they continue like this he won't last. Yuko, yes / she said in a low tone / Doc, as usual, I am giving you a complete copy of the preliminary studies as well as the treatments that will be applied. The stay will depend on the boy's physical response, he said, passing him a sealed black envelope. Yuko, thank you, but can I ask something? Doc, of course you need it. Yuko, she said she's suffering from brain damage because her quirk wasn't supposed to prepare her body for such a thing. Doc, / was silent for a moment / yes and no, you see, there are cases in which a body does not adapt to its quirk, sometimes it only does so partially, and that boy's body could be said to fall into that category, so the x-rays reveal his body was still preparing, it could be said that it is something that took time or rather this damage is due to a forced or accelerated adaptation. Yuko, can you explain it better? Doc, look at it this way, people who have a fire quirk must have certain characteristics in their skin to resist it, as well as fire resistance and the boy's skin can be said to be more than twice as resistant to fire as yours or mine and his brain is the same, his body was not yet prepared or you could say that it was slow to the process. Yuko, slow? Doc, yes, I can't give a detailed explanation, but I can assure you that this boy would not have been able to use his quirk like this because of his low adaptation response. Yuko, I see. Doc, don't worry, we'll make sure you're in condition to continue with the tests. Yuko, you can contact me for any changes. Doc, / hesitates a moment / if you can leave me your number and that will be it. Knock knock. Yuko, hey idiot, you're late, I don't think I'll pay, what are you doing here? Alba, I came to talk to you. Yuko, go ahead. Yuko, what do you want? Alba, I found information about your lost child. Yuko, so you found. Alba, one or another thing that will catch your attention, by the way, and where it is. Yuko, boarding school. Alba, it was so bad. Yuko, good, it was just bad, look, she pointed to a black envelope on the table, everything is in those papers. He began to read the documents. Alba, what? How is that possible? Yuko, I wonder the same thing. Alba, how can he be alive with this? Yuko, he is grateful that at least they took him even if he went to the hospital once. Alba, / sat down / now I see. Yuko, see? What thing? Alba, look, he takes out some paper, what I could get was little but look, he handed him a paper, that kid seems to already have a criminal record. Yuko, let me see, / began reading / food, you say he was arrested for stealing food. Alba, yes, according to the report, that's how it was and that gives you a chance. Yuko, me? Why me? Alba, you say you want to have that child with you, right? Yuko, not with me, but I hope he doesn't feel any more pain, at least until I can walk. Alba, well look Tai / interrupted / Before he could say anything, the main door of the residence was suddenly knocked down, the window was destroyed by a man in black, several men dressed in black quickly subdued both of them and one of them took the documents from the envelope and then hit both of them, leaving them unconscious. The vision was null, a faint light appeared and then they were hit by a strong light that the Seago adapted to after a few seconds. Tell me how someone who is supposed to be a combat trainer that asks to learn and teach step to steal secret codes. Yuko, I didn't do such a thing. Seriously, tell me, do you know what this envelope means? He said, holding the black envelope / Yuko, no. This is more than you can imagine, but tell me how much is that child worth? Yuko, what? How do you know? Who do you think they contact when they go out / he said, throwing the envelope / answer why. Yuko, I don't know. What were you planning to do with it? Yuko, nothing. Seriously, in my opinion, the damage you have is not from a bicycle fall. Yuko, I know it is, it's just that. What, that you kidnapped him, that you use him to make money? Yuko, I don't do that. Then answer. What were you doing with that child? Why is he so hurt? Yuko, that's how I found it. Find, where you found it. Yuko, in a park, I had one of those fucking electroshock collars. Yes, very credible, tell me the truth. Yuko, that's the fucking truth. Bye / the glass receives a couple of blows / The man left to leave the woman alone in the room. Sergeant, hello Yuko. Yuko, sir. Sar, tell me what happened, how did you, a foreigner, get those codes, or rather, how do you have that child with you? Yuko, they were to help him. Sar, help him, if they say that no one helped him, all his wounds healed on their own and apparently poorly, I'll give you a chance, just one, you know I'm serious, so tell me everything if you don't want to suffer punishment for it. Yuko, / she was silent for a moment / you see, I found that boy a few weeks ago in a park. He was badly hurt, but I didn't notice all those wounds because he wouldn't let me get close to him. In the end, I managed to make him trust me and then that happened, I discovered all his wounds in his past. Sar, I see, Sarka will check it out, you know that no one lies to her, I hope you don't lie, I like you / he said to leave the place / Sar, well. Doc, everything will be fine sir but it will take time for each operation we need to give him time to recover. Sar, how many surgeries will they do on him? Doc, the ones that are missing. Sar, I see, you can leave. Doc, yes. Official, it's that bad. Sar, look at you / he said handing out some documents / Official, what the hell is wrong with them in Japan? Sar, I know, but do you think we can do something? Officer, I don't know, without raising suspicions I doubt it. Sar, I see. Fine, I ask you to find a way or opening to make sure the child doesn't have problems at least until the visa ends. Official, yes. Sarka, I see you're having a great time, aren't you / she said looking at Yuko in a cell / Yuko, you know how wonderful it is to bring me lobster for breakfast and grilled steak accompanied by a delicious wine. Sarka, incredible, not even Holy Day has so much luxury at such an early hour. Yuko, true. Sarka, tell me, is that why you asked about things like that when you were kids? Yuko, if something like that. Sarka, you know that if you lie to the sergeant, they'll lock you up for a while, right? Yuko, I know, but I don't lie. Sarka, we'll find out, dear. Yuko, tell me one thing before you go. Sarka, what do you want to know? Yuko, you can see only the memories or also feel them. Sarka, sometimes I can feel them, but it's rare that it happens until now I can only see them no matter how much they try to hide the information. Yuko, I hope you don't regret what you're about to see. Sarka, it went so badly for him. Yuko, tell me how you would feel if you were kicked out of your home and ended up fighting almost to the death for some food. Sarka, you see / interrupted / Yuko, that's just the easy part, friend. When you see it for yourself, you'll tell me if you wouldn't have done the same thing. Sarka, I'm leaving, I have to pick up my son, one more thing, why don't you leave your hair natural? Yuko, I don't like the attention it attracts. Sarka, I guess a white-haired girl with red eyes and smooth, white skin is not something that goes unnoticed. Yuko, yes. Sarka, I'm leaving, take care and save me some of that steak. Yuko, I'll definitely save you a drink too. 3 weeks later. Sar, well. Doc, he can be interrogated, but don't abuse him. I don't know if he'll resist. Sar, as long as I can corroborate the information, that's enough for me. Doc, I see, I'll send it to your center along with the necessary details for your care. Sar, tell me, did you suffer serious damage? Doc, no, but if you avoid using your quirk in such an indecently way you will recover in a few months. Sar, that's good to hear. Doc, I'll start with the paperwork, I'll leave the rest to you. Sar, yes. Yuko, I don't know if you like seeing me like this or if you just came to laugh. Sarka, it's your last chance, friend. Tell the truth. Yuko, I already said it, I found that fucking kid in a fucking park, I've been repeating it to you for days. Sarka, I hope so. Yuko, look, if that's the case, you'll pay for my food this month. Sarka, if not, you will pay for my son's school year. Yuko, don't fuck with me, it's more than I spend. Sarka, you only eat fast food, I doubt it's any less. Yuko, fine, but you better comply. Sarka, you know I will. Yuko, I'm looking forward to a good slice of pizza. Sarka, yeah, me too. Nurse, ready sir. Sar, because he's asleep. Inf, Vera was difficult to deal with. Sar, why? Inf, the child reacted somewhat aggressively. Sar, aggressive? In what way? Inf, I don't know what happened to this child, but when he saw us, he was scared and attacked us with fire, blue fire. Sar, fire? I thought his quirk was telekinesis. Inf, it is, but it has 2 quirks sir. Sar, I see, but we will be able to see his memories. Inf, if in your condition it is impossible for you to exert resistance. Sar, I see, thanks for bringing it. Inf, don't worry sir, I'm leaving. Sarka, how did a kid like him get here? Sar, you'll find out. Sarka, yes. Sar, well, we have to prepare everything. Izuku was on a stretcher in a closed room with a large window on one side of the wall and a blonde woman with black eyes sitting next to him. Sar, ready, start the interrogation. Sarka, yes sir. The woman proceeded to place her hands on both sides of Izuku's face at the same time as his eyes closed. The vision turned dark and then flashes of light began to jump all over the area. Blue, red, green, purple, pink, gray, various colors began to conglomerate in the environment at the same time that faint sounds of laughter began to become louder and louder to end up distinguishing children's laughter followed by a female voice could be heard. In the distance, the whirlwind and the sounds immediately exploded into a wave of white light accompanied by a deafening sound, changing the view to a playground where several children were running and playing. The park was full of children playing everywhere, a mother or two were there and among them all a couple of green-haired girls appeared. Izumi, come on bro you can look he said creating a small flame in his hand maybe it's not complicated.
Izuku, I know sister, but I can't, I try to create one, but nothing, I can't.
Izumi, you can do it, brother. Bakugo, you really are a Deku. Izumi, it's not like that. Bakugo, if not then why can't he? You can create fire without a problem, but you know I even think that you just lied to us and you are a Quirkles. Izuku, I'm not. Bakugo, if you are, if not, why can't you create anything? Izuku, I don't know. Izumi, alone, he must be asleep yet, right? Bakugo, of course, but you are the same age, so why hasn't he woken him up and you have responded? He said a little annoyed . Izumi, no lose he said with his head down . Bakugo, admit it, your brother is a useless Deku, a simple Quirkles, that's what he is. Inko, kids let's go she said with a somewhat serious expression while Asia gestured to the children . Izumi, let's go mom, Bakugo this won't stay like this. Bakugo, whatever you say. A white door appeared in the vision, it began to open to reveal a humble, somewhat neglected but tidy apartment. Izumi, mom, what's wrong? Inko, it's nothing, daughter she said with her head down tell me, are you hungry? Izumi, no mom, but you think my brother. Inko, now. Don't talk to me about him. Izumi, because, it's your interrupted . Inko, daughter enough is enough screams annoyed I'm fed up with that topic, leave it already, now I just want a break from this. Izumi, sorry. Inko, don't worry my daughter she said hugging her I know everything will be solved tomorrow you'll see the doctor will tell us what happened and everything will be fine. Izumi, but mom, there's no need to go again. Inko, of course, I'm already fed up with this. While both were talking a green-haired man was on his knees shedding tears to get up and go to his room. Doc, ma'am, this is the 3rd exam I've done on your son he said a little annoyed you can't force what might not pass. Inko, please there has to be some way you can use your quirk you said it yourself. Doc, I know what I said ma'am, but please understand your son does have a quirk but I don't know why he can't use it, everything in him seems normal. Inko, but. Doc, ma'am, if your son doesn't show or can't use his quirk, it's because maybe he'll never be able to use it. Inko, why not? I can lift some heavy things. Even my daughter can lift a microwave. He can't do the same. Note, here Inko can lift a small vehicle with some effort, but such an act takes quite a bit of wear and tear. Doc, Madam, please don't insist, there's no point in continuing with such studies. If your son could at least use a part of his quirk, he would see himself like this. Takes out a brain x-ray / look at this area here / he said, pointing to a part / it's where people who have telekinesis have the greatest brain activity, and your son doesn't show greater activity than a person trying to do the same thing but without having such an ability. Inko, there must be some way. No. Doc, no, if I remember correctly you have telekinesis, your husband breathes fire, and as you could see in your daughter's study she shows the changes that someone with a fire quirk should have, including resistance to heat, but your son has neither resistance nor an increase in brain activity, so it is most likely that your son's quirk is too weak to even have the strength to manifest. Inko, but there must still be something to study, there must be something / she said a little desperate / Doc, ma'am, we did physical tests, blood tests, x-rays, even cultures at your request, but I don't recommend accepting the fact that your son's quirk is too weak. The woman fell silent in her chair with a lost look. The green-haired man only looked at the doctor with some tears, waiting for an answer that would give him hope. Doc, I'm sorry ma'am, but there's nothing I can do, / looks at Izuku / I'm sorry kid, I'll let you be alone for a moment / he said to leave the room / The green-haired boy saw how his mother just had a lost look. He didn't know what to do and slowly approached her. He called her but didn't receive an answer, so he decided to move her, but when he did she turned away from him coldly, ignoring him. He resisted the pain. His mother just looked at him and got up, taking him by the hand and more dragging than anything else they left from there. The whole way the green-haired boy only saw the street as many children walked and some made use of their quirk. He saw this sadly. During the whole journey no one said anything. When he got home, his mother without looking at him just said, "Go to your room, I don't want to see you," and then went to the kitchen. He saw this sadly, so as such he listened. The light began to harass his vision and he ended up opening his eyes. The green-haired man got up a little tired when he saw the mirror and saw how his eyes were red. When he saw his pillow and saw how it had a stain on it, he sensed that he had fallen asleep. He prepared himself calmly until he saw All Might's clock. When he saw the time, he ran out of his room. When he went downstairs, he saw how his mother was still in the kitchen. Izuku, Mom, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. Inko, / without looking at him / it doesn't matter, just go. Izuku, but I haven't had breakfast. Inko, just go, nothing will happen to you for not having breakfast, go on, it will be late for you / with a flat tone of voice / The green-haired boy decided to leave without insisting. When he walked out the door, he said goodbye but only received a sad yes. He decided to run to his school. When he arrived, he was barely able to enter. Everyone was having their lunches, savoring every bite. Everyone was watched by the green-haired boy who could only hide in his seat watching this. Izumi, brother, what's up, did you forget your food? Izuku, yes, Mom didn't give me anything. Izumi, now that you mention it, it takes less time to prepare everything, do you want me to give you mine? Izuku, no sister, that's yours. Izumi, it's okay. Bakugo, hey Deku, you're still here. Izumi, what do you want, Bakugo? Bakugo, what do you care, crazy, you're not even from this class, why don't you leave? He said angrily / Izumi, / I look at him annoyed / you better not do anything to him, Bakugo. Bakugo, go away if you don't want me to tell the teacher you're bothering me. Izumi, the only one who bothers me is you. Bakugo, just get lost. Bakugo, well Deku / he said when he saw Izumi leave / what a stupid quirk you have. Izuku, I don't know. Bakugo, like you don't know, it's 3 times, isn't that what you're going for? Izuku, yes but / interrupted / Bakugo, ha ha ha, I knew it, you were just lying. Deku, listen everyone, Deku, yes it is Kurikles like we all thought. The few who were there began to laugh at the green-haired boy. He could only cry in his seat while everyone just mocked him as Bakugo approached. Bakugo, tell me Deku, what will you do if I do this? He said to give him an explosion in the face / The green-haired boy fell silent but didn't know what to do, and for some reason he threw a notebook at him that hit him in the face. When he felt the blow, he got angry and started hitting him, but mostly he gave him explosions all over his body. His clothes were scorched, and his face was covered in soot. His vision slowly opened, noticing a white place around him rose. Inf, boy, you finally wake up. Izuku, what happened to me? Inf, you got into a fight, kid, that's what happened. Izuku, but. Inf, kid, I don't care about your excuse, just hurry up, the director is waiting for you he said somewhat reluctantly The door was in front of him and he knocked 3 times only to receive instructions to enter. Izuku, my name is. Direk, tell me why you attacked young Bakugo. Izuku, I didn't attack him, he attacked me he said surprised Director, young man, all your classmates said that you attacked him. They all saw how you approached him while he was in his seat and hit him with a notebook because. Izuku, I didn't do such a thing, please believe me. Direk, being young Bakugo, I would doubt, but of all his companions, because tell me what made him do it. Izuku, I already told you I didn't do such a thing. Direk, exhaling fine, if you don't want to say anything I'll have to punish you. From today you will stay to clean the living room alone for a week. Izuku, but. Direk, no young man, don't insist, just step back and do it. Izuku, yes he said in a muffled tone The night was beginning to be an active presence, the green-haired man took longer than he thought to clean up. When he got home, no one received him. He was surprised, so he went to the living room where only his mother was. Izuku, I'm back, Mom. Inko, yes, good. Izuku, I look at her with doubt as she watched television I regret being late. Inko, yes. Izuku, I'm going to my room no response received The green-haired boy went up to his room which was just being filled with All-Might objects. He lay down on his bed and saw how one of his figures was missing. Surprised, he began to look for it but didn't find anything. He decided to go down. Izuku, Mom, one of my All-Might figures is lost. Inko, without seeing it I sold it. Izuku, what? Why? Inko, it's just a toy, and I need to get back the money I spent on you. Izuku, recover? Inko, I already spent a lot on a useless person like you, so don't complain and leave me alone she said with a tone of voice that denoted anger Izuku, yes he left with his head down The days went by with the same situations, but during the week of punishment the green-haired always returned late, and one that another day a figure disappeared. His sister remained distant since every time she tried to be good to him her mother got upset and punished her. For several weeks after that first incident the room that began to fill with All-Might collectibles began to empty. Figures, posters, even his watch disappeared, but as if that were not enough the food that was once hot and tasty began to turn lukewarm or cold with bland flavors. Even his favorite dish that was served to him every time he achieved something memorable stopped being seen. His sister was no different. His classmates believed what Bakugo said and always bothered him or attacked him without being able to defend himself or show otherwise. He only received blows and insults, and every time he came to defend himself he was the one punished. His sister, who at first became compassionate with him, began to distance herself, but one day that changed. When he returned from his classic punishment, when entering home the first thing that greeted him was a closed fist, not a slap but a fist. Inko, how dare you? Izuku, what did I do he said shedding tears Inko, she grabbed him by the shirt and threw him inside the house. What did you do, brat? Look she said pointing at her sister who had a cut on her face it's your damn fault they're attacking her and your damn pranks have me fed up, damn brat, she shouted at him harshly and pushed him aside. He could only withdraw into himself and receive that punishment The night was the first thing he saw when he woke up. When he opened his eyes the first thing he could see was that the last thing he had left of All-Might being his sheets were gone, only the empty mattress was the only thing left. He tried to get up but the pain was intense. As soon as he got up he fell. He could barely drag himself to his bed to lie down. An intense cold was present. He quickly got up suddenly, waking up seeing that it was already daylight. He turned from one side to the other trying to see what was happening. Inko, get up and get dressed now she said annoyed with a bucket The green-haired boy felt how the cold water took away all traces of sleep. He decided not to object and got ready as quickly as he could and followed his mother who was waiting for him at the entrance of the place. He went with her and so they began to walk for a couple of hours until they reached a beach full of Asura. Hey, they're also coming for the day said a man in torn clothes near a cargo truck Inko, if he helped her today. I doubt that child is good for anything. Inko, just make him do something and you'll see what works. Hesitating okay, hey you brat, come here. The green-haired boy hesitated but a push from his mother made him move forward. Started to look at him well, let's see if you're any good, get in the truck with the others. He listened and when he did he saw several people, some men in worn clothes, one or another teenager. This one went up without any response from them since they were asleep. The truck began to move quickly once the man got in. It began to advance, leaving the city. For a few hours he only saw how the buildings disappeared one by one and fields of crops became present. After an hour more the truck stopped in what looked like a stable. Get down quickly / everyone listen / the rules are simple, you guys / pointing to the teenager in Izuku / you'll get paid based on what you plant, so take one of those sacks / he said, pointing to some that were hanging on one of the stable doors / move if you want your money. The sun was burning, he felt his clothes getting hotter and hotter. His sweat was the only thing that was moderately cool. He was progressing slowly since he had to constantly return for seeds. The teenagers would take his away instead of returning. Hey kid, wake up. Izuku, hey, where am I? Where did I pick you up, kid? Here, he said, holding out a small wad of money. It's your pay for today. If you need more, come back tomorrow. Izuku, yes, he said, taking the money. The course was cold. He felt like what was once pain as the sun went out, and the cold felt worse. He walked home since he got lost from where he was supposed to go. When he returned he could see how his house was dark. Not knowing what to do, he could only look out a window to see how there were silhouettes inside. Suddenly, before he said or did anything, the lights suddenly turned on, blinding him. He fell and rubbed his eyes. When he got up he saw how they were celebrating his sister's birthday. He was stupefied by this. So much pain, so much punishment, and the only calendar he had was the day today at his school made him lose what day it was. It was his birthday. He thought that at any moment they would come out and celebrate with him, but it was not like that. He only saw how everything was just for her. Nobody seemed to be looking for him this whole celebration. Saw how his sister received gifts, ate cake, and so on. He was sad and crying. He got out of the complex and went to a couple of bushes near there and sat down, closing his eyes, imagining how everything was different, how he was with his sister with all his friends singing while enjoying cake and hot food. The cold seeped into his body, icy drops fell on him, waking him up. He noticed how he was still in the bushes. When he saw where he was, he decided to return home. When he arrived, he saw how the door opened. He saw his mother come out and ran to her. He thought she was looking for him. He clung to her but was then separated with a single slash. Inko, don't touch me, / I look at it, where the money is. Izuku, here / he said, extending the bundle / Inko, _ he began to tell it / so little good, you know how to return to that place / he nods / then come back and you will go to school another day. Now go and bring more money, you still owe me a lot of money / he said, closing the door in front of him / He fell seeing the door, tears fell from his eyes and he cried, but hoping that if fulfilling that you owe me would make her happy, he left. Months began to pass. The food he received was the little he could get at the stable. His mother no longer called him Izuku, just a child. He returned to school less and less, but every time he returned, he was only the object of ridicule for his appearance, which was increasingly more finished. His skin began to turn tan from the hours in the sun. His eyes became more sunken. His stomach constantly growled, but it opened. He carried that pain, hoping that everything would end soon, but he was wrong. Derek, you again / he said, looking at Izuku / young man, I don't even know what time this is because you insist on being a bully. Izuku, I'm not a bully / he said with his head down / Director, boy, do your classmates complain that you bother them daily or steal their lunch? Why? Izuku, I'm sorry but / interrupted / Director, I'm sorry kid, but enough of your lies. This school will not tolerate any more of your lies. From this day on, you are expelled from this school. Izuku, but / he said, scared / I haven't done any of that / he said, crying / Director, teachers and students report to you daily, child. I'm tired of punishing you. If you don't listen to me, you'd better go. Take your things and leave. Don't come back to this institution. I'll call your mother to let her know about this. Now go out and take your things. The walk was long, the steps were heavy, the afternoon was coming, but he felt different every day that passed in the sun. It began to be fainter, warmer for him, that pain began to fade slowly, his skin even slowly began to clear up. Managing to get to his home, he entered without making a noise. He no longer greeted when he arrived since he never received an answer. He carefully closed the door, and in the space between the door and the step to his house he took off his worn shoes with clear marks of mud, shoes that at some point were neat or in better condition than they are now, were a distant dream. Removing them, several socks of different designs of all might were present. It was something he discovered from one of the ragged men while he was dying of cold in the feet. The man did not, and one day he saw that he had several socks which lessened the cold and imitated him. At the end of his action he entered his home, passing through the hallway, but he was barely halfway there. Inko, why do you keep causing me more problems / she said, annoyed / Izuku, it wasn't my fault, they framed me. Inko, stop lying to me / she lunged at him and started hitting him / I'm fed up with you and your stupid expenses, I always have to be paying for you, I'm fed up with you she screamed between blows. The vision was blurry, he lightly touched his face and felt a pang. He looked for something to reflect and saw his face full of bruises and some lines of blood falling. Carefully he cleaned what he could to be able to lie down on his mattress full of dust. He felt that he was sinking to the bottom of it and he did not give importance to this and rested despite the pain. The next morning was worse. His mother forced him to go to the stable every day to earn money. He still believed he could fix everything, that he just needed time. The old man always gave him work despite his appearance, and that motivated him to think that everything would be fixed. The hunger was more intense, the leftovers he got from his mother were gone, he couldn't get anything else, his stomach growled louder than ever, and then he saw an apple among the horse food. Its appearance wasn't the best, but in his sight it was delicious. Without thinking he took it and took a bite. A year has passed since he was kicked out of school, as he knew easily again what happened last year was repeated. His sister happy on her day and he trying to survive this time on the beach. That day he didn't have the strength to go back. A pig had escaped due to his carelessness and he had to chase it, which exhausted him. But as he found out about this easily, one of his sister's friends passed by where he was with a gift of considerable size wrapped. He could only shrink and sing to himself while he fell asleep. 2 months passed, the harvest was in full swing, the corn was ready and he began to cut it one by one. This time he felt different. The sun didn't burn, but rather made him feel warm and alive, but his stomach was something else. He was already the last one in the field and he thought that one bite would be enough. He took a big bite of that green ear of corn only to receive a blow that knocked him down. Old man, damn thief. The cell was cold but acceptable to him. It was something to deal with. Officer, boy, why did you steal? He said seriously as he looked at him. Izuku, I was hungry. This one just retired. A couple of hours passed until. Officer, this man claims to be your son. Read his notebook. Izuku Midoriya. Inko, you're wrong, officer. I don't have a son, only a daughter named Izumi, and she's not a thief. She said, looking Izuku in the eyes. And that brings us to the end of part 1 of What If Deku Was Kidnapped and Lost. Izuku's life has been filled with pain, rejection, and cruelty, but his journey is far from over. Because in the shadows of suffering something powerful is growing inside him. He is going to rise stronger than ever before. And in the future, when fate leads him to Momo Yaoyorozu, a spark will ignite, one that could change both their lives forever. Stay tuned, because what comes next is not just about revenge or power. It's about becoming glorious. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2. This is Anime Stark, and the best is yet to come.